Hello, everyone. It's the November Plan again, reading Khmer Legends by Dima Tap Baker. And I'm going to be reading a few or two short stories here. The ones that I was going to read before, it's actually a longer story, so I'm going to wait until I have the pronunciations correctly. But it is Khmer, and I am still learning it myself, so bear with me if my pronunciations are incorrect. Put that in the comment section, please, and that'll help me out in the long run. So this short story is called Rabbit, the Lawyer, so Pia Tonsei. Once upon a time, there lived a rabbit that possessed great intelligence. When he was young, he used to play beside a pool where the water was clear and fresh for drinking. Other animals that lived near the pond played there too. Nearby, there was a tall tree called Drat. One day, cruel villagers came and chopped it down for firewood. There was nothing left of the tree except the big stump that still produced an abundant yellow, sticky, gooey substance like resin. For the purpose of this story, we will call our hero Rabbit. One morning, not knowing that the stump was covered with the sticky resin, Rabbit sat on it, peacefully enjoying the view of the pond and the sunrise. To his unpleasant surprise, Rabbit could not get up because the resin had glued him to the tree stump. He was very upset and thought he was going to die unless he could get off the tree stump. Suddenly, an elephant appeared and walked in the direction of the pond. Rabbit said to himself, "This elephant is going to save my life." Rabbit then yelled, "Brother Elephant, don't drink that water. Breh Intra has ordered me to guard the pond. Can't you see that I'm sitting comfortably on my chair guarding it? If you dare to drink one drop of its water, I will trample your head and kill you." At that, the elephant angrily responded, "You don't know what you're talking about. I don't drink your water. I drink the water that is in this pond. If you dare to drink this water, I'm going to crush your head with my feet and kill you," replied Rabbit. The elephant realized in a moment that this rabbit was very arrogant and disrespectful. "How dare he crush my head when I am the biggest animal in the forest?" he thought to himself. "He pretends to be able to trample me. Well, I'm going to show him who I am. I'm going to reduce this little animal to marmalade. Nothing will be left of him, not even his bones." With that, the elephant grabbed Rabbit with his trunk, pulled him off the tree stump, and threw him on the ground. In doing so, a part of Rabbit's behind was still stuck to the stump. However, Rabbit was free. In this way, the story tells us the new bushy bunny tail that we see on rabbits today is the result of that accident. This new bushy tail replaced the old one that was left behind on the tree stump. The elephant then decided to make soup out of the rabbit. Guessing the elephant's move, the rabbit said, "Big brother elephant, I would like to die because I came to this earth 1,000 years ago. At the same time, Breh Intra created the world. I am old and tired of living. However, I feel it's only fair to tell you that my bones contain poisonous venom that could kill whoever comes into contact with it. If you hit me with your trunk, my bones will dig into your skin and you will die. If you stamp on me, my bones will dig into your feet and you will die. As for me, I cannot die. The only way to kill me is to find a very big, thick, brushy bush with lots of thorns and throw me into it." Without hesitation, the elephant grabbed Rabbit for the second time and threw him far into that thorny bush. Rabbit did not hesitate for a moment and ran for his life onto the plain. Thinking aloud, Rabbit said, "The next time the elephant sees a rabbit that he thinks he has killed The next time the elephant sees a rabbit that he thinks he has killed very much alive, he will understand that I know more tricks than he does. He will be confused and ashamed of his own stupidity. Okay, so the ending of this quote from the rabbit is, I would say it's grammatically incorrect. So I'm going to reread this part. So Rabbit says, the next time the elephant sees a rabbit, he thinks he has killed, it is very much alive. So he will understand that I know more tricks than he does. He will be confused and ashamed of his own stupidity. Yeah, even the sentence is, I'm ashamed of the sentence, and it sounds stupid. Sorry, Ms. Baker, but yeah, there needs to be some corrections here. But that's the end of this short story. Okay, the next one is Rabbit and the Jackal. During a dry season, a lonely jackal sadly ventured onto the plain looking for food. He arrived at an almost dry, very muddy pond. At the bottom of the muddy pond, he could see many miserable fish, crabs, and shrimp struggling to survive in the little water that remained. "Today is my lucky day. More so than any other day," said Jackal aloud to himself. A small shrimp who had observed Jackal from the bottom of the pond understood why Jackal was so cheerful. Rising closer to the edge of the pond, the shrimp said, "I know what you have in mind. You're looking for a delicious dinner. However, if you eat us as we are, we will not taste good. Our bodies are too full of mud. Besides, it could be dangerous to your health because we may be infected with terrible diseases." "What shall I do then?" Jackal responded. "Do you have any suggestions? I want my meal as tasty as it can be." Humbly, Shrimp replied, "If you take us to a bigger pond where there's plenty of water, we will then be able to clean ourselves. Then we'll taste better and we will be an enjoyable, nutritious, and delicious meal for you." "How am I going to transport all of you to the other pond? There's so many of you down here," said Jackal. "Don't worry, big brother. If you listen to our guidance, you will be able to have a tasty dinner," said Shrimp. Sure, I'm listening. Just tell me what I should do," answered Jackal. "Please come, big brother, to the middle of the pond. Lie down and we will climb on your back and hang onto your hair. Then you will have to carry us to the other pond that has plenty of water. After we have cleansed ourselves in that water, you can eat us," responded Shrimp. Jackal, who was greedy as well as stupid, followed Shrimp's instructions to the letter. Some of the shrimp, crabs, and fish from the dry pond climbed onto Jackal's back and hung on to his hair. Jackal took him to a bigger pond a mile away near the forest. When he arrived there, he gently entered into the water and released the animals from his back. The shrimp, crabs, and fish, happy to find themselves in a pond with abundant clean water, then said to Jackal, "Big brother Jackal, please go back to the dry pond and bring all of our brothers and sisters before you eat us. We would like to be together." So Jackal went back to the muddy pond and lay down in it so that the other fish, crabs, and shrimp could climb on his back. He then returned to the big pond to release them. On each of his return trips, he saw all the others waiting for him faithfully. Jackal was very confident that he would be able to eat them together when he had completed his task. He was really looking forward to a scrumptious dinner. He made many more trips. Finally, when it was certain that every brother and sister had been brought to the bigger pond, all of the shrimp, crabs, and fish disappeared into the deep water, leaving Jackal behind looking angrily at the water. Realizing that he'd been duped, Jackal got very angry. He called upon the other animals in the forest, small and big, to help him solve the problem. Among the animals that showed up were an elephant, a rhinoceros, a tiger, a lion, a python, snakes of all kinds, and birds of a different species. They gathered near the bank of the pond as Jackal explained to them how he had been cheated by the fish, crabs, and shrimp. So that Jackal could eat them, he asked these animals to help him empty the pond. The bad news had spread quickly. Having heard that Jackal was going to empty the pond, the fish, crabs, and shrimp feared for their lives. "How can we stop these animals from emptying the pond?" they asked one another. A small fish named Kran spoke up. "I have heard that there is a very intelligent rabbit. This rabbit can solve almost any problems in life. He has solved many an animal's problem as well as human beings' problems. Moreover, I've also heard that this rabbit is a very kind-hearted rabbit. He never turns down a request for help. We must look for him to resolve this delicate situation." The fish, crabs, and shrimp were very delighted to hear this good news. They unanimously agreed that Kran should now depart at once to look for the wise rabbit. As night fell upon the earth, our friend Rabbit set out in search of food. Soon after, he came upon the exhausted Kran. He asked, "Brother Kran, you look exhausted. What brings you here?" "Brother Rabbit, I have come a long way looking for you," replied Kran happily. "Our lives are in danger right now. We've heard that you always give a helping hand in an unfortunate situation. Please listen to our grief. Numerous animals, including our elephant, a rhinoceros, a tiger, snakes, and multitude of other animals, including big birds, are right now getting ready to empty the pond where my brothers and sisters live. If you don't stop them now, we'll be eaten by the jackal. I implore you, Brother Rabbit, to find a solution to save us from this catastrophe." "Calm down, Brother Kran. Let me take care of it. Go back to your people and tell them not to worry," said Rabbit. At these words, Kran returned to the pond where his brothers and sisters were anxiously waiting for him to announce the good news. The next day, as the sun rose, Rabbit set out in the direction of the pond. There he saw that many animals mentioned by Kran were busy emptying the pond. He then picked a big leaf from the tree. The leaf was half eaten by worms, and the other half showed traces of worms crawling on it. After having selected a higher ground at the edge of the pond, he lifted the leaf to his eyes and pretended to read it. In a loud voice so that he could be heard by all animals, he read, "Brothers and sisters, listen to me. Bra and Tra will come to break the legs of pelicans and the wings of the eagles, cut off the heads of the wolves, pull out the tusks of the elephant, chop off the head of the tiger, slice open the seal, and slash the head of the python." In Cambodian it said, "Pra and Tra lok yang mok krat chöng trom promom chöng akruk kat kbal chachuk dak pluk domrei sa kat kbal akla o chru chiang ki và po api kat kbal atlan." Before the rabbit finished his speech, the animals stopped what they were doing and ran for their lives. In the confusion, they stepped on one another, and some of them were killed. The elephant, rhinoceros, and zebras stepped onto the python, cutting him into 3 big pieces. A good number of animals were killed during the confusion, fell into the pond, and became a big meal for the fish, crabs, and shrimp. Okay, thank you guys for listening to my broken Khmer. Let me know if I mispronounce some of these. It's a little hard reading them in romanticized way that Miss Baker wrote, but I do appreciate you guys listening in. Have a wonderful evening, and if you are about to go to bed, have a good night, sweet dreams, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.